I'm right.
You signed a rental agreement.
I'm right. I'm right.
No.
This is not what I asked for. This is not what you guaranteed.
Your guest wants a refund, but your refund policy says they don't get a refund. When do you bend the rules? When do you hang tight to your refund policy? What happens if you're giving too many refunds? What happens when you're hanging on too tightly to your money? How do you make the decision on what to do on a case-by-case basis? We're gonna go over all of that in today's video so that you can feel more confident about your refund policy moving forward. Just in case this isn't obvious, you need to post your refund policy in more than one place. Here are the places you need to post your refund policy. In your listing, and everywhere your listing is listed, you need to have your refund policy there. Also in your home rules. So your home rules might be in your listing, but it also might be in your welcome book, in your check-in instructions, another place for them to see your refund policy. And then most importantly, the legal binding agreement between you and the guest is in your rental agreement. And make sure they can understand it. What does it exactly mean? And when will you issue it? And when will you issue it? And make sure you understand it yourself so that when a guest calls you on it, you know exactly how to answer. There are 3 big reasons why you may have a conversation with your guests about a potential refund. The first is something that is not within your control, like your neighbor decides to have their roof replaced and the roofers show up at 6:30 in the morning when your guest is trying to sleep next door. Not within your control, but it still really stinks for the guest.
Another thing is the guest showing up and you have wrong expectations set for them. They see all these photos online. They're so excited to see maybe that vintage chair, that amazing couch, and they walk in and it's gone. You've bought new furniture and haven't updated your photos. They feel duped. They want a refund. They're getting off on that very first, that first impression. They're not getting what they were sold.
And then another big reason, and our third reason here, is their travel plans changed. Maybe the interview they were coming into town for canceled on them, or there's a big snowstorm where they're at, even though it's blue skies where you're at.
Or hurricane, or maybe their flight was canceled. Not their problem.
Yeah, not their problem.
It is their problem, not their fault.
Right. So what do you do in these 3 examples? We're gonna go over them so you can take that example and apply it to something that you're definitely gonna face in the future as a host. As you begin your hosting journey, we want you to document when you have conversations about refunds, why you're having the conversation, and then what decision you made moving forward for that guest. I have 10 years of historicals with short-term rentals, and I will tell you, our refund quota is not that high. The conversation does not come up that much. I've talked to hosts I didn't even know what the word chargeback meant, because our operations were so dialed in. What a chargeback is when you say no to a refund and the guest is like, sorry about it, I want a refund anyway. They tell their credit card company and the credit card company sides with the credit card user and they take the money back anyway. In my 10 years of operations, I've never had to deal with a chargeback. You have to really weigh the cost of fighting with the guest about a situation with the long-term success and financial stability of your business, because if they're using a credit card, which most people are, you might lose in the end anyway.
You've always got to be one step ahead of your guest. For example, you know your cancellation policy way better than they do. So let's communicate with them. Once you know why they're coming to stay, how long they're coming to stay, and one of your welcome messages, maybe just ask them like, hey, this is my cancellation policy. Did you purchase travel insurance? That way you can reiterate what is in your house rules for your cancellation policy. Help them out there. Also, please read all of your reviews. When you're reading these reviews of past guests, these are guests that have taken the time to write a review, and maybe they've given you a tip-off of some things that maybe weren't as what they had anticipated. So please pay very close attention to these. You can remedy that and make sure that the next guest that's checking in is getting exactly what they are paying for. Again, it's not if, it is when you're gonna have this issue where you potentially have to refund. So let's really dig into it. You have to put a face to the issue. Meet this head on. Be human about it. It's just 2 humans that are discussing a topic.
Yeah, so if you're at a restaurant or you're at a department store and you are frustrated with the person behind the counter, and in this case might be the person behind the app, go to the guest door. Maybe say like, I'd love to stop by, or Or when will you be home so I can meet you in person and really apologize for the situation in person, and then surprise and delight them. Like our roof issue at the beginning of the video, you can't control that, right? And so you can work with the guest on how can we make this work for you and your family, but have that conversation in person. Maybe bring them a gift card to a local restaurant that has great breakfast or great pastries and coffee. You show up with the coffee and pastries. How can you surprise and delight? It might be a lot less than the nightly reservation that you may have to refund them in the end, and they might just love seeing your face and that you care.
And the key here is listen. Listen to all of their concerns. They want to be heard. So that is free. Listening is absolutely free. Listen and take the time to understand their issues.
Yeah, let's say the refrigerator goes out, Annette. That's a big deal, especially if it's a larger home, or a lot of times people like to stay in short-term rentals because we have the kitchen spaces that the hotels don't. So I think that's a big reason, a good reason to want to stay elsewhere.
So that's something you do. You need to get on it right away. Maybe offer to pay for their dinner while you're having the refrigerator looked at, but you need to see exactly what the issue is. Obviously, peek in the refrigerator, see how much food and beverage they might have purchased for that trip so you can kind of guesstimate what they've spent, but see what the solution is, offer them that solution for how you're gonna repair it, and in something like this, you might have to give them an alternative stay. So you always wanna have a potential backup plan, a backup place for your guest if you ever have a large issue where they need to be placed somewhere else.
Put yourself in their shoes. What would you want someone to do for you in that situation?
Remember, this is hospitality. We are a hospitality business and we are here for the long term. So you don't want to look at that super isolated incident and how much money it might be then. You want to look at it over the whole entire year of your business. And we promise you it'll be a very small percentage of your business if you do have any sort of refunds. Listen, take a deep breath. It's going to happen. No worries. Just come back to our channel, get all the education here for all of your guest needs.
We want you to hit that like button, the thumbs up. Leave a comment below. What are your thoughts? What do you do in these situations?
And don't forget to smash that sub button.
We'll see you next week.